Good Monday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille show. It's great to be with you. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Let's please understand the significance of this holiday on a fantastic day to be alive in this fair city of Charlottesville, Virginia. You know I bleed Charlottesville. You know I love this town, and I'm so excited to introduce you to a man that I think you're going to get to know fairly well over the next few years. His name, Chip Boyles. He's the new CEO, the new city manager, the new North Star of Charlottesville. He has, and I think he would agree with this, he has his work cut out for him. He has a lot on his plate. But he comes with an impeccable reputation. He comes with people that I know singing his praises. And I'm a guy who is a glass is half full type of mindset. And I'm a guy who's willing to give men and women an opportunity to prove their talents and prove their worth until they prove otherwise to me. And I think this guy is going to be just what the doctor ordered for City Hall. Chip Boyles at about 14 minutes on this show. A lot we got to cover on the show, including Albemarle County schools, virtual right now, yet athletics are still happening. Think about that. Kids are learning their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s, their presidents, and their spelling in the coat closet, in the spare bedroom, in the half bathroom in the basement, yet they're able to play basketball right now. I want to take a deep dive into that topic in a matter of moments and whether or not that was the right move. I think my opinion on this and my take will surprise you. I also want to talk negative COVID vaccines for air travel into the United States. I love this. You can't get on a plane and arrive in the U.S. until you show a negative test. I'm going to take it a step further and relay to you how COVID-19 could impact marketing campaigns across Charlottesville and Central Virginia. We will talk opportunities for empowering yourself from an earning standpoint. I think COVID-19 has showed all of us that having a business or a side hustle or a source of income on top of your job or something you're passionate about is critically important. I'm going to relay 2 chances for you to get into business for yourself on the I Love CVille show. One at a higher price point and one at an entry price point of $800. That topic coming up on the program. We'll talk COVID-19 and country clubs across the area. And how about that UVA men's basketball team humiliating the Clemson Tigers over the weekend? How proud of you were of Tony Bennett and the Cavaliers? I was proud. They looked damn good. Kihei Clark looked fantastic. Unfortunately for UVA, the matchup against NC State on Wednesday at the John Paul Jones Arena has been postponed. It's been nixed because of COVID in Raleigh with the Wolfpack. So we'll talk hoops on the show. I'll introduce you to a St. Anne's Belfield alum that played in the postseason and was protecting Tom Brady on the offensive line. Someone get Phil Stinnie, the Charlottesville basketball legend who played in the National Basketball Association, who started at Virginia Commonwealth University. Phil Stinnie, you know I love you, baby. You know I love you, Phil Stinnie. Someone tell Phil Stinnie to watch this show because I'm going to be talking about his son, Aaron Stinnie, at the bottom of the program. First, we'll give some love to Ting Fiber Internet. Ting powers this network. It is the fastest internet, and it's not even close. You can save $288 on the best internet in Charlottesville only through the link I'm about to tell you, and Judah Wickhauer, our director, is about to put on screen. It's ilovecville.ting.com. You get free installation and a free month, the first month free, $288 savings. Dudes, we use Ting for this network. We switched from Comcast to Ting. I'm going to straight up tell you, the difference is night and day. It's not even close. It's not even close. I'm talking like a Tesla compared to a Ford Pinto. Ting versus Comcast. All right, the first headline on this program with Chip Boyles 11 minutes away is a headline that I love to see. It's a macro headline. The United States is going to require every media outlet, Chip, every media outlet in Charlottesville, Virginia is watching the show right now. I just want to give you a heads up, Chip Boyles. I'm looking at them right now. Every media outlet in Charlottesville, Virginia is waiting for you to come on this program. let's talk COVID. The United States is going to require, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced that as of Tuesday, January 26, all air passengers aged 2 years and older, must show proof of a negative COVID-19 test before they enter America. I love this. If you want to get on a plane from Brazil, from Europe, from Australia, damn straight you should have a negative COVID test before you enter our country. The next level of protection for America is likely a vaccine, proof of vaccination. Expect it. And I know there's some naysayers out there, and I'm shocked that there's still naysayers out there that are unwilling to get this injection, this vaccination, this wonder, this modern marvel of medicine in your arm. I'm not one of them. I would be first in line if I could. Unfortunately, I cannot. The next step is proof of vaccination before you get on an airplane. I would even be surprised if you see proof of vaccination before you can go back to certain jobs. Okay? And I want to localize this for you because it is the I Love CVille show. I thoroughly expect in the second half of 2021, as restaurant workers, frontline workers, are getting the vaccine now, I thoroughly expect in our fair city of CVille, of Charlottesville, we will see restaurants and small businesses say in a marketing campaign, on social media, on digital, on their website, heck, they may even use traditional TV, print, and radio to get the word out. They're going to say, we have proof of vaccination on our staff. No one can work here unless they're vaccinated. And that's going to help create consumer confidence and jumpstart the economy locally in industries that have been raped and ravaged: food, beverage, hospitality, and live music. What are the elements we need to feel comfortable to going back to a festival like Festi? What are the elements we need to hear a talented horde player like Ray Cadell playing at the Paramount? What are the elements we need to enjoy a wedding planned by Barbara Lundgren, hosted at Keswick Vineyards, catered by Harvest Moon or Craig Hartman at Barbecue Exchange? There's one common denominator, and that's a vaccination. I expect in 2021, in the final 6 months of the year, maybe in the back, maybe Q4 of 2021, you'll see small and medium-sized businesses from Charlottesville, Virginia to the Los Angeles, California, using the vaccination in branding and marketing collateral to help drive consumer confidence, especially in the spaces, food and beverage, hospitality, live music, and weddings that have been raped and ravaged by a pandemic that we never expected. Okay? And then what you're going to have, because we have a talent of seeing down the road on this network, what you're going to have is you're going to have two businesses at the marketplace, two different types. You're going to have the marketplace businesses that embrace the vaccination and leverage it to attract customers in their door. Then you're going to have the business owners that are anti-vaccination. And you know the ones that are out there. And those aren't going to emphasize it as much. And you'll have a line in the sand. And the line in the sand is going to be this. You as a customer, how much does it mean to you to go to a place where you're eating inside, in a restaurant, and you know everyone on that staff has showed proof of vaccination to the owner? How much will that mean to you? For me, for my wife, that's going to mean a hell of a lot. The next question you should ask yourselves is this. If proof of vaccination is the way we're going to head for waiters, for hostesses, for busboys, for the back of the house at restaurants, is the step after that proof of vaccination for customers to walk in the door? If a small or medium-sized business said, Ray Cadell, Keith Smith, Olivia Branch, Barbara Lundgren, Kelly Jackson, Curtis Shaver, Jason Boofy Johnson, you can't come in our business unless you can show us that you got vaccinated. How would you feel about that? Would it make you feel safer? Would it make you feel like you're being intruded upon? Would it encourage you to spend your money at that business, or would it piss you off so much you boycott them? That's the next thing that's going to happen, folks. For me, personally, if the Whiskey Jar, or if Petit Pois, or if Craig Hartman at Barbecue Exchange, Dean Maupin at C&O, Brian Hellenberg at Fleury, Annie McClure at Citizen Burger Bar, Kelly Jackson at Panera Bread, Jamie Swartz at Picasso Swig, if they said to me, no customers can come in this door without proof of vaccination, just like they're saying no customers can come in the door without wearing a mask, from my standpoint, I say bring it on, baby boy. Bring it on. It makes me feel safe. Most importantly, it makes my wife feel safe, and a happy wife is a happy life. That's going to happen. The first step is all our employees got vaccine. We're encouraging you to come in from a consumer confidence standpoint. The second step is customers can't come in these doors without proof of vaccination, just like customers can't come in the doors without wearing a mask. And I'm all for it, but that's going to piss people off. There are anti-vaxxers out there and anti-maskers out there. You're going to have two different types of businesses. The ones that are super safe and the ones that feel these are intrusions on our personal liberties. And then the marketplace is going to decide who's going to win the battle. As a betting man, and everyone who watches this show knows I'm a betting, gambling, entrepreneurial individual who over a 13-year period has taken 3 businesses to strong heights. As a betting man, the ones that will win are the ones that go vaccination for employees, vaccination for people. Watch and see. Next topic on the I Love CVille show, a local one. Albemarle County schools are all virtual right now. Little Johnny's learning the ABCs in the coat closet. Little Susie's learning her 1, 2, 3s in the half bathroom next to the dog room in the basement. Steve is learning geography under the kitchen table. They're learning at home, yet they can play sports in person. You're learning at home in the coat closet, yet you can box somebody out in the post in the Jefferson District. A Charlottesville center can box out a Mustang center to get a rebound and push the tempo in Mitch Miner's fast break for the Charlottesville Black Knights. You know where I stand on that topic? I think it's brilliant. I think it was the right move. Now, you may disagree with me, but I want you to consider it. If Albemarle County had banned sports, the students would have gotten together and played anyway. If Albemarle County had banned sports, the wealthy kids with means and resources would have turned their athletic attention to soccer or AAU or American Legion or travel baseball. They have money, they can pay to play somewhere. They'd get personal tutelage from private coaches like Todd Proctor at Total Performance. The kids that don't have means and resources, they wouldn't have that opportunity. So instead of creating more depression, more downtrodden, dark days for kids who are not seeing their friends, leadership within the school system at Albemarle County said, we're going to ask the students to learn virtually, but we're going to allow the athletes to continue to play sports in this safe capacity because it's important for their quality of life. It may be the only glimmer they have of being around kids. And lastly, it's not fair for kids with means to go do their club activities where kids that don't have that option. I like that move from Albemarle County. What are your thoughts? Put your comments in the feed. If you have something for Chip Boyles, the newly minted Charlottesville City Manager, put your comments in the feed. Keep them respectful. I'll relay them on air for Chip Boyles. Couple of opportunities for you that I need to bring. You know I'm a business owner. You know I pride myself in entrepreneurship. One of the best decisions I ever made in my life was starting a business 13 years ago on May 31st of this year. I feel empowered. It gives me confidence. Here's two for your consideration. The first, the more expensive option. Judah, let's put it on screen. Rockfish Gap Outfitters. Rockfish Gap Outfitters is for sale. Now, folks, this is not like Dirty Nelly's. Dirty Nelly's is for sale right now. They're asking $65,000 for the Fry Springs landmark. The Irish bar, the hole in the wall with the fireplace and no windows that I love so dearly. The difference with Dirty Nelly's and the asking price of $65,000 is all you're buying is the business and the lease. With the Rockfish Gap Outfitters in Waynesboro, one of the most iconic outdoor outfitters in Central Virginia in the Shenandoah Valley, if not the most iconic. This opportunity comes with real estate ownership. You're not just buying the business, you're buying the building too. Rockfish Gap Outfitters has been in operation since 1987. That's 34 years. The reason this is an opportunity is because the owners are retiring. Folks, here's a huge chance if you're into kayaking, outdoors, mountain biking, bicycle riding, camping, paddling, mountain climbing, any of that outdoor stuff. This is the most marquee brand, one of them, shortlist top 3 in a 70-mile radius of Charlottesville, Virginia. It went on the market for sale today. That is opportunity knocking on someone's door. Now, when the real estate is included in the deal, you know the price tag of the entry is not going to be cheap. I want to give you one that's on the lower end of the price spectrum. Judah Wickhauer, let's get it on screen. For those that are in F&B and realize that dining inside a restaurant is going to take a while to return, consider this option, an $800 food trailer that's now for sale in CVille. $800, one owner. You want to start an F&B brand? Or you're tired at working at your current restaurant? $800. You get a full-service, turnkey food trailer that you can pull to the breweries, the vineyards, the wineries, the downtown mall, whatever it may be. You know what this is called? Opportunity. It's called opportunity. And I just gave you two. One of them at the upper end of the spectrum with a business and brand that's respected and beloved. The other, a food and beverage trailer that some entrepreneur is going to purchase and create a new brand in this town. Two options for your consideration. All right, Chip Boyles coming up. We're going to reach out to him in about 5 seconds, Chip. I want to talk about the future of Charlottesville, Virginia. I want to talk about Chip's goals for Charlottesville City Manager. How we got to this point, Charlottesville City Manager. A lot we're going to cover on the program with a guy that I'm very excited to introduce you to on the show. And still to come, Virginia basketball and that dominant victory against Clemson. We have Chip on the line right now. Good afternoon, my friend. First, hello. Second, you have every media outlet in town watching you right now. And third, I want to say, Chip, thank you kindly for joining us on the program. My friend, let us know a little bit about you.
Well, thank you. But my first question is, was it planned to be talking about the Clemson UVA game as I came on, knowing that I do have some ties to Clemson?
What'd you think of that game, Chip?
Oh, UVA looked super. UVA looked super. I was happy for them, yes. But I must say, too, I was just glad it wasn't football, too. So anyway, just glad to be on. Thanks for having me. Very excited about the upcoming opportunities working with the city. And I just look forward to get started, as much as I really dread leaving the good work that we've been doing at the Thomas Jefferson Planning District.
How did this happen? It was a very public search. We had a national search firm bow out. We had John Blair, who we love on this program. I say this all the time on the show. I love John Blair. I think John Blair was one of the best city employees we had. I'm sad to see him go to Stanton. Chip, can you give us the flip book of how we got to Chip Boyles as the CEO of Charlottesville, Virginia?
I get Chip's version of it. Of course, I don't know everything that was happening behind the scenes. Everything was fast and furious. I will echo exactly what you're saying about John Blair. Just a super person. I got to work with him when he was at Albemarle County. Then worked with him at the city. Really sorry to see him go. Very happy he's staying close by, and Virginia and Stanton gets to take advantage of him. From Chip's view, I had conversations with some of the city council as a lot of this was unfolding. I did not get into the details of what was happening at the city, other than they were in need of having somebody that could step in as city manager for either a short period of time, a medium period of time. I'll have to say that, there was never really a discussion about, hey, we're looking for somebody to be here forever. We need help. We need it now. And is there anything that you can do? A number of people on the city council were already aware, because the city of Charlottesville serves on the Planning District Commission's board, that my background is in city management. I'm not a planner, have never been a planner. It's public administration and city management. They were aware of that and felt I could offer some insight.
Did you feel you're Charlottesville through and through? I'm already getting comments coming in. Some comments coming in about your love for basketball and the fact that you're a super nice guy at Charlottesville High School and people always see you supporting this basketball team. I got folks talking about affordable housing. We'll get to these comments here. Did you feel a sense of obligation to step up and fill this position because you love this city so much?
Yes, I do. I've learned, and over time, you and others in the community, I'm sure, will get tired of hearing my stories. I've learned through experience way more than I have from school. I try to relay that through stories. I learned from a mayor that I worked for in Clemson, who was a substance abuse counselor by trade, also a professor, who talked about, Chip, the 12 steps. When you get to that 12th one, it's your responsibility to step up and help all the others. I've taken that to heart with several things. I really took it to heart this time because I do love Charlottesville, and I do think that I can help us for the short term get to where we need to go.
The common phrase from council at the end of this search and then when they hired you was, quote, stabilize the organization. Michael Payne offered a op-ed to Charlottesville Tomorrow that I thought was genuine, authentic, and I gained tremendous respect for Councilor Payne after really showcasing a tremendous amount of honesty and vulnerability in that op-ed piece for Charlottesville Tomorrow. Here's the question for you. How do we, quote unquote, stabilize the organization?
Well, I believe, the first step is, there are going to be simultaneous steps. I don't want to make it sound like there's 1, 2, 3 and in that order, but simultaneously, we've got to increase the communication. I mean, a lot of things have been happening so fast, there just hasn't been time for the proper communication. We've got to do that. As part of that, it's building the relationships across the board. Community members, neighborhoods, city staff, businesses, UVA, Albemarle County, you name it. At the same time, we have to be filling these open positions. There are too many. That's the crisis we're in. The city has to operate. There are a lot of things we want to do. There are a lot of things we have to be doing. And without somebody in the city manager's position, those things can't get done. So filling those positions, but at the same time, filling them with the right people. I've mentioned on one of the shows recently, I'm also a very big Jim Collins, Good to Great book follower. We've got to get the right people on the bus first, and then we have to get those right people into the right seats. We could hire the most qualified people in the world, but if they don't fit the Charlottesville culture, they don't fit our vision, and they don't have the same values that we have, all the experience and knowledge in the world won't get us where we need to be. So to stabilize, we have to get the right people. We have to get those that also represent our entire community, and get them working. I mean, those are the first steps. I think the other thing is to have the public understand that we need their patience to get us up to that stabilized point. We can't come up with any huge new initiatives while we're just kind of trying to dig ourselves out of a hole. Be patient with us, but don't be too patient. You know, we all need a little fire behind us to keep us moving forward the way we need to. So don't get complacent, but do give us some time.
Okay, I can do that. I promise you I will do that. I promise you I will do that. Let me throw this to you here. All superheroes do not wear red capes. Some superheroes wear red scarves. And Chip Boyles might be one of those superheroes. Here's why. This is what I'm going to outline for you, Chip. Okay? This is what I'm going to outline for you. Okay? You're taking over this job at a budget deficit. You're taking over this job during a pandemic. You're taking over the job when council has got some beef. That's safe to say. Mm-hmm. You're taking over this job after Dr. Richardson was kind of, long story short, pushed out. You may need a red cape here. I have tremendous respect for you here. I mean, did you consider all these things before saying yes? Obviously you did.
Man, I didn't know all that stuff. Now you're telling me. No. The mayor and council were brutally honest with the challenges. I've lived here. I've lived in Charlottesville. I'm a Charlottesville resident. Though my work has been regional, Charlottesville is the hub. No, I'm very, very well aware of what's out there. I'm not, believe me, the superhero, the red cape, and I know you're just joking around with it. I'm not looking to be that. I can't do this. I can't do anything. If we don't make it a we, it's not going to happen anyway. And I feel that no matter who's sitting in the city manager's chair, it has got to be a we effort. I've walked into some pretty tough situations in the past. I've
heard. Let me jump in here. Keith Smith told me this. Keith Smith was, okay, we have a lot of common friends, and all the common friends we have speak incredibly high and have great things to say about this gentleman, Chip Boyles. Keith said, and I'll put it in a nutshell, when you took over the post that you just left, they were about 30 days from going bankrupt and had some serious internal issues, and I'll leave it at that. Yeah. And you really brought the team together, and now you guys are the major player where all the jurisdictions are looking for help from you guys.
I would love to be able to tell you that coming into the PDC was my worst, beginning experience. Not even close.
Wow.
The role I took in Baton Rouge, we were on it wasn't the front page, but it was a leading page of the Washington Post about some HUD money that had been mismanaged. Lots of HUD money mismanaged before I got there. A department that was, in complete disarray. On a much smaller scale, my city manager position in Maryland, my first day on the job, as I walked in at 7:30 in the morning, there were 15 people lined up at my door because their cars had been towed for street sweeping the night before. First time in the history of the city they had ever towed cars. Someone at the city decided to do it on the night before I started my job. So I've been in some tough situations. This one is very tough, but I have received nothing but the honest commitment, and I truly believe in it, from the mayor and council that they are committed to make this better, along with the entire community. And the support I've gotten over the last few days, just makes me feel that much stronger about it.
You have 3 Board of Supervisors watching you right now, 1 Charlottesville City Councilor watching you now, Elizabeth Cromwell, President, CEO, Chamber of Commerce, welcome to the broadcast, every media outlet watching you as you speak on this program. What do you feel are your God-given skills, your talents that are made for a job like this. You clearly have the gift of human connection. You clearly have the gift of leadership. From what I hear, you empower people and you let them become the best versions of themselves to help right the ship and strengthen the organization. Give us some insight onto what you think you do well.
That's where I work my hardest, is with the communication, with building relationships. Again, making this a we or a team effort. I would love to think that I alone could do a lot, but I can't. I've never been able to. It's working with people. It's working with people honestly. One of those skills that I've been able to acquire, master, ever how I've got it, is it does not bother me at all to agree to disagree. It's easy for me to come into a conversation and I may disagree, but because we see things differently, I'm not making the assumption you're wrong. I could be the wrong one in this. It may not change my mind, but I do understand that. So it's very easy to do that. One of the skills I picked up in Louisiana, because everything there is based on relationships. Everything. And it was very educational, but I learned there, man, you can sit there and argue and cuss and nearly throw things at each other and then hug, kiss, tell them you love them and go on about your life, separate from whatever that issue was. That's what's worked for me in the past, and I hope that's what's going to work for me here in Charlottesville.
Okay. You are killing this interview, man. You are very good at this. A lot of comments are coming in for you. This Tanisha Hudson watching the broadcast, she says this: Chip, what can we do about not having any help? No deputies, no city attorney, a slew of directors missing. How will we deal with the problem of bringing people back to City Hall and making them proud to be working at City Hall? That's a good question.
That's a wonderful question. It is one I've been thinking about for a week. There are so many parts to make that happen. One of those parts is getting the community buy-in. People just like Tanisha who helped me to get those right people in. As I said earlier, this is something, and it's a really catch-22 for us. We could get very qualified people into those roles, but if they aren't buying into Charlottesville, and if they aren't buying into our values on the bigger picture, either they're not going to be there long or we're not going to even want them there. It's getting the right people. We have to sell ourselves as much as a person applying for the job or trying to sell themselves to us. We want to create, even if it's verbal, we can't prove it to people at this point, but we want them to see that we have a real vision. We have our leaders that are working together. We've got our community members that are working with us, and create something for them to see out into the future that makes them want to be part of this. Charlottesville has, my discussions with many people, just as you did, Jerry, the challenges. Here are the problems. Charlottesville has a long, long history of very good things about it. Those things haven't gone away. We just have to brush them off again. We've got to get people interested in working for the city that see those good things, see how much better it can be, and see again, how we can be an example for the rest of the country. If people can get excited, I hope they'll get excited with me there about my vision. If we can build that excitement, I think we can get the right people on the bus. But I'm going to really rely on people like Tanisha, like Elizabeth, like all of the leaders of our community to help us do this.
We welcome Neil Williamson from the Free Enterprise Forum to the broadcast. Neil, we love your stuff. We absolutely love your stuff on this network. Matthew Gillikin offers a question. Good friend of this program. He says, how do you anticipate the city will meet its affordable housing goals and accomplish school reconfiguration with the current financial requirements required? And we know Matthew's not a huge fan of the parking garage, and we know Matthew's a little uncertain about the $50 million West Main streetscape. So his question is school reconfiguration and affordable housing goals, Chip.
Let me start with, no answers right now. Not that they haven't been on my mind, because a lot of what he's talking about, I feel, also have very regional implications. Some of these answers have to be answered bigger than the city of Charlottesville can do. Affordable housing, really, really difficult to accomplish within the boundaries of the city when the cost of land is what it is in the city of Charlottesville. With the Planning District Commission, that's what we've been trying to work with the Regional Housing Partnership. So that school reconfigurations, I have some very, very strong opinions there. Both of my kids are at Charlottesville High. They've gone through the not the elementary, but the middle schools on up and upper elementary. I certainly have to, that is a priority area. Something I'm not even about to try to answer.
That's fair. I mean, you're just starting the job, right? You're just starting.
Not yet. No.
You haven't even started yet,
no,
right?
I haven't.
Right. Jeff Leonard says you are an A+ dude. He loves seeing you at Charlottesville High School. He says you are always friendly with everyone there and a tremendous supporter of the team. Elizabeth Cromwell has this to say, best wishes to Chip. My experience with him is that nearly every conversation with Chip starts with, quote, help me understand your view, and in an attempt to find the intersection of views upon which to build. That's quite a compliment right there from Elizabeth Cromwell. Let's go down that road. Politics and city management is probably an extremely fluid situation. How do you go about the conversation, and you've touched on this a little bit, when the other side is just completely at odds with you? That's one of your talents, of bringing folks to the center and finding the common ground. Anywhere you want to go on that topic.
Sure. Well, if we're successful, we come to the middle and find common ground. Sometimes you can't find that common ground, but that's not the end of the world either, because the complete opposite view has so much merit and can help, wherever you're trying to go with the issue at hand. So, back to what I was saying, I hardly ever look at something as one person wins, one person loses. There can be a win-win, and there can be win-win-wins. So that's where I try to get to. Also, as I've said, I really try hard to go into conversations going, hey, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. And I'm open to being that. The other thing is very important, and we had a project, I won't go into great detail, of working with the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County on some transit issues. There was a long, long history of how it got to that point. We could have gotten so bogged down in, okay, well, who owes who for what for the last 10 years? We were able to sit at the table and go, okay, yesterday's done. It's behind us. We're starting fresh from today, and we're going to make it right from right now forward. That's the only way we were going to ever achieve what we were after. We would still be arguing about the history had both sides not agreed to that. That's really, really important for me, is to say, hey, I want to learn from yesterday, but I can't change it. Learning from it, let's move forward from this moment in doing that.
I love it, Chip. Chip Boyles, more comments coming in. Jesse Rutherford's going to miss you. He was on Friday's show, and Jesse Rutherford was like, Jesse Rutherford, for those that don't know, is a board of supervisors with Nelson County. He works closely with Chip, with the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission. Is that right?
He's the vice chair on our board, on our
vice
commission.
chair. So, I mean,
Yep.
he on Friday, he was singing your praises. Keith was singing your praises. Susan was singing your praises. I've heard from a number of people. What are you going to miss of the TJPDC?
The board has been super to work with. I love the variety. I mean, I can be helping Jesse and those in Nelson County with a strategic plan, and then that afternoon working with Greene County, trying to expand jaunt services, transit services into Greene County. Working with the people is clearly the thing I'm going to miss. When I began my discussions with the mayor and city council with Charlottesville, though, I mean, the real selling point was, here's an opportunity that's a professional move for me. It's an opportunity for me to help my community, and I can do all of this without ever moving out of the house that I'm in. So staying here, being active, is one of the pluses, and I'll miss the day-to-day interaction with the people with the Planning District Commission.
How about, what are you thinking from a tenure standpoint? I learned the other day that these jobs, which are high-pressure jobs, are one-year contracts. I mean, one-year contracts here. Have we thought about it all of how long you want to do this here?
Another boss of mine, I tell you, you'll get tired of these stories, who was a city manager, told me one time, he said, Chip, he said, I look at it this way. I have a performance evaluation every other Monday night. And what he meant by that was, every time our city council met, he could have been fired that Monday night. And if he had a job on Tuesday morning, it meant he was doing a good job. I've tried to take that approach without looking, too long into the horizon. Of course, I'm getting a little bit older. I would love to finish out my career here in Charlottesville. And that was the real risk, the real discussion for my family as we talked about this as a group, is that should this not work out for me long term, the ultimate thing to happen will very likely be that I'll have to move away to find another job. That is by far the biggest risk that we considered with this, because we love it here. Our kids love it here. I would feel remiss if I didn't say this, because I appreciate, and have been preaching honesty with everybody who's talked about my love for the sports at CHS and active in basketball. I do have to let everybody know my son has been a very big basketball player at CHS.
I heard.
And, yeah, he wasn't half bad, but he's not playing basketball anymore.
Oh, he's not?
He's not on the team. He's not playing. He had some problems with his feet playing on the courts. So now he's playing as quarterback for the high school football team. That's awesome. All those basketball discussions, are having to go by the wayside. So I hate it for all my friends that I would see at the basketball games. I'll still be there whenever they meet in person, but it's switching to football.
You have a lot of fans from basketball that are giving you some props here. It shows his likability, guys, if a lot of people are saying that. All right, we'll wind down the interview because I know your time is precious. We got your buddy Keith Smith coming out here. All right, final question. Two questions left. The second to last question is this. In my household, when my wife is happy, things are okay and life is good. How did that discussion go with the better half and the kids? You've touched on it a little bit. The risk there, like you said, is moving. And you love this town. Can you give us a bird's eye view, or if we were a bug on the wall, on what that discussion was like with the better half and the kids?
It was a lot. It was very, very positive. They helped to push me over the line for the decision making. My wife, she teaches architecture over at JMU in Harrisonburg. Her family's from Harrisonburg. They still live over there. for her, she's worked. She's been the head of schools at LSU. Most recently in the United Emirates in the Middle East. So moving around doesn't bother her so much. It was actually my son who helped push me over, saying, this is something you have to do. If you aren't pushing it, you aren't growing. If you aren't growing, you aren't moving anywhere. He said, you just got to take the risk. And he equates everything to sports and said, do you think these coaches know they're going to be there for a while, or a football player somewhere? So they're the ones that helped push me over. And believe me, it was up to the last minute. My son called me. I had till noon on Wednesday to say something. And my son called me on my cell phone and said, Dad, you got 13 minutes. What's your answer? And so they're the ones who really helped to make this decision much easier than perhaps that it was.
We'll close on this. I'm so grateful for your time. Close on this. How about a message to Charlottesville? A message to everybody watching?
Please, give us a little bit of time. I think things are moving in the right direction. I'm going to do my absolute best. I want to reach out to everybody. I want to come to your neighborhood groups, to your business groups, one-on-one. At the PDC, we recently completed a project in CVille where we did what we called front porch meetings. I want to continue that myself as city manager. So I want to hear, good or bad or indifferent, but I want us to go about this as a we. And please don't think that I can be the one doing it. It's just got to be all of us.
I'm grateful. Thank you for your time. We look forward to connecting with you again. Truly, sincerely mean this. Wish you the best of luck. As you know, everyone's counting on you. No pressure. You got everybody counting on you. And not just the city of Charlottesville. All of Central Virginia is counting on you, because as the city of Charlottesville goes, Central Virginia goes. So you got 300,000 roughly people counting on you, Chip. No pressure, dude. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a good one.
We will. Thanks again, everyone.
All right, take care. Chip Boyles, guys. Soon to be newly minted Charlottesville city manager. Keith Smith coming up in a matter of moments. What do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your perspective? He was real. He was honest, right? Was he not? I'll say this. How you choose to communicate with the community goes a really, really long way. If you're accessible and approachable, willing to go to the porch meetings that he was talking about all over town, willing to talk to the associations, the business groups, the networking groups, that goes a long way. What do they say about work and life? Showing up is like 50% of it. You get some shoe leather on the street. You can't shake hands and kiss babies anymore because it's COVID, but you get some shoe leather on the street and you do these meet and greets with mask on and socially and safe distance, or the conversations via Zoom. That goes a long way in a town like this. I know we like to call ourselves this world-class city, Charlottesville, but Charlottesville is more of a world-class town than a world-class city. The longer we spend in this town, the more intimate and the smaller it becomes. Word spreads quickly. You get out in various communities of various ethnicities and various economic means, different economic levels. That's going to go a long way. I think the future's bright here with this city manager. What's your take? Put it in the feed. We'll get to your comments on air. Every media outlet in town just watched that interview. I'm going to reach out to Keith Smith. We're making news here per usual on the program. Keith Smith knows this man extremely well. The star of Real Talk, 10:15 Tuesdays and Fridays on the I Love CVille network. He's on the line, J-Dubs. My friend, how are you?
How are you today?
What'd you think of that?
I think, as you know, I I think the world of Chip, and it's not just because we're close. We're close because we work together. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours as we went through trying to tackle very similar, same issues that he's trying to tackle at the city. So, I've been watching the feed, and my hope and prayer is everybody gives him the opportunity to do his job. Everything that you heard that man said came from the heart, and he will perform. Now, here's the truth: will everybody let him do his job? That's a whole thing yet to be seen. But that whole comment about every day he shows up before the board, it could be his last day. Now, the board I sit on, we have 12 people that can make that decision. So when there's 7 of them that says he's gone, he's gone. That's how that process works. In the city, it's 5, so 4 can make that decision.
Three, right?
Happen. 3. Yeah, there you go. There's my math, right? New York City school system. What do you want? But in any event, yeah. So I've been following the feed, and my hope is everybody who is unhappy about this, give the man a chance. He'll prove himself. Everything that he said, he'll stand up. I've been in discussions with him that we went toe to toe on the subject matter. Either I admitted I was wrong or he admitted he was wrong, and we moved on. But, give the man a chance. He can do that. If anybody can do it, he can do it. That's how
about this? You know him better than most. How about the nuances, the dynamics that make him a good leader?
Well, I think you just heard it in his interview, right? He's very inclusive. I mean, we had 0 employees left over at the commission, or very minimal. I think 1 or 2 out of that. I mean, everybody vacated out, very similar to what's happening in the city. And he just, we rallied up around him. All 12 of the board members rallied up around him and pushed him forward. But it'll take time, but he'll find the right people and come in. And if you have never sat down in one of his porch discussions, I hope you attend them when he get out there in the public, because you'll just get a better feel for the man and his capabilities. But he just has that ability to bring people of difference of opinions together. Some people are just blessed with that, and he happens to be one of them.
What would you like to see from City Hall? You're a guy that's the chairman of the Planning District Commission. You're a man who...
No, I'm not the chairman. I'm the treasurer of that, but I'm the chairman of the Regional Housing Partnership, which is part of that. So that's the reason why we work so much to bring affordable housing to the region and so forth and so on. I think I've talked about this.
You have. Live in Fluvanna, do real estate all over Central Virginia. You're in leadership positions left and right. Seems like every leader in town.
It's only because you've been doing it for decades.
Right. You've been in this game forever. What do you want to see over the next year?
Hey, come on, I'm not done. Back off.
I knew you were going to say that. What do you want to see over the next year, my friend?
Well, I mean, we talked about that. I mean, where everything is, and you could just looking at the feed between everybody's, feelings and folks some folks are very disappointed that this went this way and so forth and so on. You just got to give the man a chance. I'm going to keep on repeating it, but we're at 0. I mean, we're less than 0. If we can get to 90% in the next 12 months, and that means some good hires, and move the ball forward, I think we'll be good. It's so the expectations are so low. The limbo is so low. Anything moving upwards is going to help out. And I just know the man, and I know his capabilities. And if he's supported, and based on Michael's discussion and some of my discussions with the other city council members, that they're going to give him that support, no matter what hyperbole is out on Facebook and all that stuff. I'm confident they're going to do that because they've all worked with him on similar projects or similar issues around the region. So, if they give him the opportunity, he will pull it off. We shall find out.
Do you think
it's only time will tell?
Only time will tell, indeed. Do you think it's a tough sell filling these positions? I mean, what do we have? No deputy city managers? We got positions open left and right. Do you think it's a tough sell?
Yeah. Would you take one of those jobs?
Probably not right now.
I would.
Yeah, I would not right now.
Why would you do that? Right? You know, it's what, why would anybody, there's a specific reason why the search committee said, you know what, bye-bye, right? There's dysfunction. I'm just telling you, I was there when we were chairing the reorganization of the commission, right? We were at the same place. We had, so this body, just so the folks that don't understand what it does, best way to think about it is a public consulting company that does land planning and traffic and all kind of great stuff for jurisdictions. Our sole job is to work for our six jurisdictions. And we had 6 jurisdictions that wouldn't even talk to us. We had a $500,000 HUD grant problem that involved the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County, and nobody was talking to each other. That conversation. And we hired people. The point, we fixed it so freaking good that they stole them from us.
We missed that a little bit. You're dropping knowledge bombs here, Keith Smith. You're going in and out a little bit, and what you just said I think is extremely important. I know the background of that. Judah, how's the connection over there with Keith? Is it good?
It's a little spotty.
It's a little spotty, he says. Can you repeat what you said? Because what you said was very valuable.
Sure. So when Chip took over the Tampa Bay Planning District Commission, our sole job is as a consulting company, as a public consulting company. It is a public body. It's no different than the board of advisors of the city council. Our sole job is to jurisdictions that encompass our region. And we got to the point that our clients, the people that we work for, didn't trust us. You know, we were done as an organization, and as I can. So much so there was a $500,000 HUD grant issue between the Charlottesville and Albemarle County that we were in the middle of it that we were trying to fix. It was just a disaster. State how disastrous. It just is too nice of a guy to talk about it. But it fixed all those relationships in such a way that the city fired them from us.
I'll tell you what. What he's saying, I can hear it. The connection's choppy. Can we highlight some of the stuff you're saying tomorrow on Real Talk?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's going in and out. Tomorrow at 10:15 a.m., Keith is here in studio with his talk show. Real Talk airs on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10:15 a.m. Who do you have as the guest tomorrow?
So me and you, my friend. And
okay, great.
We're going to talk about what Charlottesville's doing. One, from hire a helper, we're number 1 in the country for folks to go to retire. And then as far as cities go, and you and I are talking about that, 2 Charlottesville, 3 Waynesboro, and number 4 is we're going to cities to move for folks to retire.
Okay, we're going to talk that
I'm
tomorrow.
losing you.
I know. You have a good one, Chip. You have a good one, Keith. See you, Keith.
I'm Keith. See you. Bye-bye.
See you, Keith. Connection a little rough there on his side. So we'll continue this discussion tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. And right where the signal started breaking was when he was talking about taking over, the Chip taking over at the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission and the position they were in when he took over. So I very much encourage you, if you want to hear the rest of that, 10:15 a.m. tomorrow, he's in person in the studio on his talk show, Real Talk of the I Love CVille Network. You know, I'll put this topic aside, but before I do, I want to offer some thoughts. Would I take the job of a deputy city manager now? No, I would not. That being said, Charlottesville's got a lot to offer. I mean, I don't have to go through the rundown for you. You got outdoors, you got sports. When there's no COVID, you got restaurants and music and nightlife. You got quality of life. You got stuff to do outside. I mean, You got Wintergreen close. Richmond's just around the corner. DC's 2 hours away. We're close to Nags Head. We're close to Virginia Beach. I mean, you got opportunity here. That's why when I showed up in this community as a first year at the University of Virginia, coming from Williamsburg, first year in Dabney 101, first left, Shannon, my roommate, great dude, inner circle friend. I knew immediately when spending time here that this was going to be the forever place. I had an affinity for sports in the University of Virginia. Had them here. I had an affinity for beer and wine and hanging outside. We got that here. I had affinity for food and doing things with friends on the downtown mall. Live music. We got arguably one of the most powerful music moguls in Corin Capshaw that calls the Charlottesville area his home. It's no coincidence we get marquee musicians of global proportions frequently playing CVille. If we can you know where we're at? One of the three businesses we own is an advertising agency, branding and advertising. You know the predicament Charlottesville has? It's called branding. Its brand is in rough shape. And the brand I'm specifically speaking of is the Charlottesville City Hall or the Charlottesville government brand. The brand, the perception, the optics are rough, dysfunctional, cannot get along, massive attrition, people quitting, sprinting for the door as if Brian Wheeler, as if his desk was on fire, as if City Hall was on fire. People are sprinting away from the building. It's a branding and perception problem. It's very interesting to have this conversation because I think the advertising campaign that should be thought about, that should be planned, that should be strategized, the advertising campaign that should be rolled out may not even be an advertising campaign tied to tourism in Charlottesville. Instead, the advertising and branding campaign should be tied to city government, the unification of the government, and the positivity of moving forward if we can figure out this dysfunction. If we can change the narrative, and if we can massage the brand and the optics, people will come. People will come and take these jobs. The campaign is not a tourism campaign. That's down the road. The campaign is a healing campaign. The campaign is a campaign of unification and of bringing people together. The campaign should be one of government can figure this out, get along, and be the North Star we need from the 5 people on the dais and now Chip Boyles, the city manager, and all these deputy city manager positions that need to be filled. That's the campaign that needs to be done. If we can massage and correct and fix the government, the city and local government brand, that will then create a viral or trickle-over effect throughout the entire region. One of the first things that comes to mind when thinking Charlottesville is government dysfunction. Let's change that narrative. And from government dysfunction, let's change it to government productivity. They don't have to get along, but they need to coexist so they can produce for us. And when that campaign is rolled out, and please, dear God, City Hall, do not hire someone from outside the market for something like this. That would be the stupidest thing you could do. When the government, the local government brand is massaged and the perception is adjusted, that'll have a positive impact on tourism, restaurants, hospitality, music, small and medium-sized business, and people choosing to live here and stay here. Curious of your thoughts. Put them in the stream. We'll relay them on air. A couple of other items I want to get out of the notebook is we're seeing a tremendous trend with COVID-19 and driving value proposition behind neighborhoods that have things to do within the neighborhood, whether that's hiking and walking trails, mountain biking trails, whether that's tennis, golf, swimming pools, and other extracurricular activities that can be done within the pod or the neighborhood. What I'm seeing locally, regionally, and nationally is a prioritization of home buyers targeting neighborhoods with built-in amenities and built-in opportunities for children to have fun. Follow the trend closely, because I think the val prop of a neighborhood like this has never been higher or stronger. Our next topic on the I Love CVille show is basketball. And on Saturday, I watched Tony Bennett's basketball team absolutely humiliate the Clemson Tigers on their home floor. This was the best victory of the year for the Wahoos. Their marquee win of the year. They hadn't really beaten anyone of quality yet. And they did it in total team effort. So many folks give Kihei Clark such a hard time, this 5'7" point guard. They say he's not a good shooter. They say he needs to take care of the ball a little better. They say he's a defensive liability when he's going up against taller guards. You know what I say? I say, hogwash. Kihei Clark might not be our most talented player, but Kihei Clark is undoubtedly our most important player. This team will function, produce, and perform as that young man goes. That's pressure, but he's up to it. And one more item of the Virginia basketball notebook. Wednesday's matchup against NC State at the John Paul Jones Arena has been postponed due to a COVID outbreak in Raleigh. The open date on Wednesday may be filled by another opponent. Time will tell. Virginia has had a lot of games postponed and canceled this year. We need to start making these up so they can get the seasoning and the live game experience before the ACC tournament and the big dance. I said this in the beginning of the year, and I will say it again. This team has the talent to repeat as national champions. It has the talent to repeat. And the last item of the sports notebook, if you watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat New Orleans last night, you saw a product of Charlottesville and St. Anne's Belfield Academy protecting Tom Brady. His name, Aaron Stinnie, Phil Stinnie's son. I am a huge Phil Stinnie fan. Coach at St. Anne's Belfield, a product of Charlottesville, a man who went to VCU and played at the National Basketball Association, a man who's changing the lives of so many young people in this community, Phil Stinnie. His son, Aaron, started as a defensive lineman for John Blake's St. Anne's Belfield football team. Howie Long, yes, that Howie Long, the father of Kyle, Chris, and Howie Jr., all three who played football at Stab. Howie's in the stands, Big Howie, watching his sons play football, and he sees Aaron Stinnie, who is a brick house of a man on the defensive line, and he tells Aaron, your body, your feet, and your talent are better suited for the offensive line and not the defensive line. Aaron scratched his head, took it to thought, and today, after graduating from Stab and matriculating through James Madison University, today he's a starter in the NFC Championship, where he will protect Tom Brady against the Green Bay Packers. Charlottesville should be proud of that. I am. Congratulations, Phil Stinnie and family. You did a hell of a job with that young man. All right. Comments, concerns, get them in the feed. Comments, concerns, put them in the feed. We'll relay your comments and concerns on air. Ray Cadell. He says, my band gets tested every week, and every week we have a show. And yes, I market that fact. Apparently, you can still transmit COVID-19 to others even if you are vaccinated. That is correct. You can get the vaccination and still transmit COVID-19 to others. It only protects yourself. I truly expect we're going to be in a world at the end of this year where those signs on the door are going to have mask on and proof of vaccination. The airlines are already insisting upon negative tests if you're flying into the United States from outside the country. As the vaccination rolls out, becomes more ubiquitous, approachable, and accessible and readily available, this will start being a calling card for us. Just like on your driver's license and says, are you an organ donor? It'll say on there, have you been vaccinated? And you're going to show your card or something on your phone to do things. And some people call that a violation of your constitutional rights. Not me. I call that survival. I call that putting this, I was going to use a profanity. I call that putting this pandemic behind us. I call that survival of the fittest. Questions, comments, concerns, put them in the feed. Questions, comments, concerns, put them in the feed. Tanisha Hudson is going, she's left many comments on this feed. I'll leave it like that. She said, Jerry, you weren't honest on the question that I asked Chip Boyles. You're lucky I'm not downtown. I would have came in and told you live, don't lie in the air about what I said, what it's written in the comments. You're right, Tanisha. It's my show and I can do whatever I want. Understood? Just like when it's your Facebook Live, you can do whatever you want and say whatever you want. Understood? And I'm not going to let you come on the show and disrespect a man that hasn't even come into office because you want Dr. Richardson as the city manager. It's not going to happen on my network. Understood? You can do that on yours, and I won't disrupt it. I won't even leave any comments. Frankly, I won't even watch it. But on mine, I'm not going to let you lambast a man who's new to the job, not even on the job. That ain't going to happen. Heard? All right. Thank you. I agree, Olivia Branch. Olivia says, whatever it takes to return to the life we love, supporting the vendors we love. Amen. Whatever it takes to return to the life we loved, supporting the vendors we love. Olivia Branch. Thank you for watching the show, Olivia. All right, I'm out of here. Tomorrow, 10:15 a.m., I Love CVille Network, Real Talk with Keith Smith. He'll give you some insight into into the lion's den Chip Boyles went into at the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission. That was some of the items that got cut off in our interview. I've also reached out to Lloyd Snook about coming on the show. Counselor Lloyd Snook. You know, I'm going to close on this. We have to give people a chance to prove their talents. Maybe not everyone wanted this gentleman as the city manager. And a lot of folks are irked, irritated, downright pissed off how Dr. Richardson was treated in Charlottesville. And frankly speaking, there were a lot of elements where he was railroaded out of town. Council railroaded Dr. Richardson out of town. We all know that. But how you feel about that railroading of Dr. Richardson out of town and that passion you have for trying to get this man, Richardson, back into city management position, which was never going to happen. Let's cut to the chase. Once they split council and the city manager, Richardson, they were never going to remarry. They were never going to reunite. They were never going to rendezvous. It wasn't going to be this make up to break up type of situation. That's not how optics and PR and local government work. So let's put the vendetta and the vindictive mindset to the side. And let's allow someone who's not even on the job yet to get his feet wet and prove his worth and see what he can do. And after a year, if we're still in this mess, after a year, then you turn up the heat. But it hasn't even started. Good night. That's all. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille show. I enjoy connecting with you guys through this platform. You guys have a good afternoon.